The first step in securing your stockpile is understanding what's most at risk. It's all about high-value items, the things that become priceless when society is hanging by a thread. Picture this: canned goods, a veritable treasure trove of nutrition, ready to eat, and with a long shelf life. They're like gold in a survival situation. Prescription drugs, too, are invaluable. Whether it's insulin, antibiotics, or painkillers, these tiny lifesavers are worth their weight in diamonds when the pharmacies close. Then there's clean water, the elixir of life itself. Without it, survival is measured in days, and fuel, the power to cook, to heat, to light up the darkness, is another prime target. These are the items that raiders will covet most, so they are the ones we must protect at all costs. Knowing what to protect is half the battle. Now, let's talk physical barriers. This is where we get into the nitty-gritty of fortification fundamentals. When it comes to protecting your stockpile, a simple lock on the door just isn't going to cut it. You need to think bigger, stronger, and more secure. Start with deadbolts. These are a step up from your standard lock and provide an extra layer of security that could be the difference between a successful raid and a thwarted one. Deadbolts are hard to pick and even harder to break, making them a formidable barrier between your supplies and potential raiders. But don't stop at the doors. Windows are often overlooked weak points, providing an easy entry point for those determined to get at your stockpile. Window bars are a simple yet effective solution to this issue. They physically block entry and act as a visual deterrent, sending a clear message to anyone sizing up your stockpile. This won't be easy. Now, let's talk reinforced doors. This isn't your average front door we're talking about. Reinforced doors are built to withstand force, whether it's a kick, a battering ram, or even a bullet. These doors are made from solid wood or metal and often include additional reinforcing elements such as metal plates to increase their strength. It's important to remember that these fortifications aren't just about keeping people out, they're also about buying you time. The longer it takes for someone to break in, the more time you have to react. Whether that's calling for help, preparing your defenses, or getting your family to safety, every second counts in a crisis. Of course, physical barriers are just one aspect of a comprehensive security strategy, but they're a crucial one. Without solid fortifications, all your other preparations could be for naught. So don't skimp on this step. Invest in quality materials. Take the time to install them properly and regularly check them for signs of tampering or wear and tear. Solid fortifications are your first line of defense. They set the stage for everything else you do to protect your stockpile, so take the time to get them right. Your survival could depend on it. Technology can give you the upper hand. In a world where old-school locks and barriers might not cut it, surveillance systems can provide an extra layer of security. Let's talk about how these systems can help you guard your gear. First, consider surveillance cameras. These eyes in the sky give you a live feed of your property, allowing you to keep tabs on every corner. High-resolution cameras can help identify trespassers, and infrared capabilities allow for nighttime surveillance. With modern technology, you can monitor these feeds from your smartphone, alerting you to any unusual activity. Next, let's talk about motion sensors. These devices detect movement within a certain range and can be used both indoors and outdoors. When a sensor is tripped, it can trigger an alarm or alert you directly. This gives you a chance to assess the situation and respond accordingly before an intruder gets too close to your stockpile. Now, on to alarms. An alarm system is an excellent deterrent. The loud noise can startle intruders, potentially causing them to flee. Alarms can be linked to doors, windows, or even your aforementioned motion sensors. Some systems can even alert local law enforcement or a security company if triggered. But remember, these systems are about more than just catching would-be thieves in the act. They're about deterrence. A visible camera or a posted sign indicating an alarm system can make potential raiders think twice. They might decide your well-guarded stockpile isn't worth the risk and move on to easier targets. In conclusion, a well-planned surveillance system can be a key part of your defensive strategy. It can give you peace of mind, knowing that you're taking proactive steps to protect your stockpile. It's about more than just gear. It's about safeguarding your lifeline in a crisis. Stay one step ahead with technology. It's not just about surviving, it's about maintaining control in a world where control is the ultimate currency. So think smart, plan ahead, and let technology be your ally in this survival game. Sometimes a show of force is necessary. In a world where might often makes right, a strong and visible defense can be the deterrent that keeps potential raiders at bay. But how do you strike a balance between looking formidable and inviting a challenge? Let's delve into the art of deterrence. Non-lethal deterrents are your first line of defense. These are the methods designed to discourage rather than cause harm. Think of floodlights that illuminate the darkness, exposing anyone who might be lurking in the shadows. Consider alarm systems that blare out a warning, disrupting the quiet and drawing attention. These systems work to make your stronghold seem less appealing to would-be intruders, increasing the risk of their mission without you having to raise a finger. But what about when non-lethal deterrents aren't enough? When the threat escalates, it's crucial to have a plan for armed defense. This isn't about promoting violence. It's about being prepared to protect what's yours, if it comes to that. Whether it's a firearm, a crossbow, or even a trusty baseball bat, having a tool to defend yourself can make the difference between losing your lifeline or keeping it. Remember, the goal here is not to engage in a fight, but to dissuade one. A visible means of defense can make potential raiders think twice, weighing the potential gains against the very real risk. It's a psychological game, one where your preparedness can tip the scales in your favor. Of course, it's important to note that the use of force should always be a last resort. Preserving life, yours and others, should be the ultimate goal. But in a world where resources are scarce and desperation can drive people to extremes, having a plan for defense is an essential part of your survival strategy. Deterrence can save you from confrontation. By sending a clear message that you're not an easy target, you're already one step ahead in the game of survival, and sometimes that one step can make all the difference. If they can't find it, they can't steal it. Those are words to live by in a survival scenario. Camouflage and concealment are as crucial to your survival strategy as fortifications and surveillance. Let's start with the basics: hiding your resources in plain sight. This is a time-honored tactic used throughout history, and it's surprisingly simple. It's about blending your supplies into their surroundings so seamlessly that they're overlooked. This could mean storing your canned goods in a pantry that looks like an ordinary cabinet, or hiding your medical supplies inside a hollowed-out book on the shelf. But don't stop there. Think creatively. You might hide water purification tablets in an old coffee can, or stash spare ammunition in a false bottom drawer. The key is to make everything look ordinary, uninteresting, and certainly not worth a second glance. Now let's talk about hiding your resources in unassuming places. This strategy involves putting your supplies somewhere a raider wouldn't think to look or wouldn't want to go. For example, you could bury a cache of emergency supplies in your backyard, or you could squirrel away extra food in your attic. Just remember, wherever you hide your resources, make sure you can access them quickly and easily in an emergency. Time is of the essence in a crisis, and you don't want to be fumbling around trying to remember where you hid your first aid kit when someone's life is on the line. Lastly, don't forget about decoys. A decoy is a false target that draws attention away from your real resources. For example, you might leave a few canned goods in plain sight while your main stockpile is safely hidden away. If your fortifications are breached, the raiders might be satisfied with the decoy and leave without searching further. Remember, the goal of camouflage and concealment isn't to make your resources invisible, it's to make them unappealing or unnoticed. It's about playing mind games with potential raiders and throwing them off the scent. This strategy can protect your supplies even if your fortifications are breached. Out of sight, out of mind. There's strength in numbers. In a world where survival is paramount, creating alliances can be a game changer. Building trust with like-minded neighbors can form the foundation of a mutual defense pact. This is more than just making friends. It's about forming a united front against potential threats. Imagine for a moment a neighborhood watch program. It's not just about keeping an eye out for suspicious activity. It's about creating a network of individuals, each protecting their own, yet ready to come to the aid of others. This collective vigilance can be a powerful deterrent to raiders. When a group stands together, they present a larger, more intimidating defense. It's about making the potential cost of a raid too high for any would-be thief to consider. Remember, in a survival situation, cooperation isn't just about being neighborly. It's a strategic move. Together, we're stronger. Know your rights. That's the first step in understanding how to legally protect your stash. While it's natural to want to fiercely guard what's yours, it's also essential to remember that even in a crisis, laws still apply. The last thing you want is to survive a catastrophe only to end up behind bars. So let's talk about the legal side of things. In many places, you do have the right to protect your property, but the extent of that right varies. Generally, you can't use deadly force to protect material goods. It's a harsh truth, But it's better to lose some canned goods than to face a murder charge. It's also important to consider the implications of setting traps. While they may seem like a good idea, they could lead to serious legal consequences if they injure someone. In all things, remember this: your goal is survival, not confrontation. Keep your defenses within the law. Preparation is key to ensuring that when a crisis hits, you're not just another statistic. It's the culmination of not just gathering resources, but safeguarding them, that truly defines survival. We've walked through identifying high-value items, fortifying our safe spaces, employing surveillance systems, and mastering both deterrence and defense tactics. We've explored the art of camouflage and concealment, the power of community cooperation, and the need to understand the legal implications of defending our stockpiles. Each strategy is a piece of a larger puzzle, and together, they form a formidable shield around your gear and your very survival. Remember, in the gritty game of survival, it's not just about collecting resources, but also protecting them. Stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, forewarned is forearmed. If this guide has sharpened your defenses, smash that like button, subscribe for more survival wisdom, and share your own security tips in the comments below.